Want to speak? All right, welcome everybody. 6 o'clock, September 20th. This is our half-hour community interaction where we discuss things with anybody from the community or staff or amongst ourselves if there's nobody from the community wants to speak. Okay, so here's your chance to discuss non-agenda items.
Mr. Hotsford. Oh. You come to the,
It's not that casual. You can't stay sitting down. Is that mic working? I can't. Yeah, it's not. We
May
turn
have
that
to
on,
tilt it up.
please?
just gotta hit the orange. Yeah.
Yes, 1, 2.
Yeah, lift it up closer. There we go. Thank you.
Like I said, Compton Road. Being this is a public forum and it's recorded, are we allowed to go talk about ongoing cases or questions about them?
No, we don't discuss code enforcement.
All right.
At
My
council, that's
second question would be, can I get an interpretation from the council on literature that was sent to us? Would you be able to look at this and say?
Not at this forum. I don't think. I mean, you can always pass it out and town manager and attorney can send it to us and ask us to review it, but
Does this pertain to the code case or is it something else? Oh. Oh.
You can see the form, but it does pertain to the code case. But I would not talk about the case.
Or code case. I'm asking you, with that interpretation, would our council say, yes, we have the final right to save a business, whether it be industrial, parrots? Does that tell us that the council or Francine, the town manager, is able to say, we supersede the county? The county has a rule that they allow in the whole county. And we have our own set of rules. Which rules are we following? Are we going by that right there? Because that's an issue, is the county supersedes ours. And I don't know. I want an interpretation from, without bringing up case or an address. Does that piece of paper there from the county that they have documented from 2020 show that our laws on businesses supersedes the county? I don't mean to put you on the spot.
yeah,
but
all I'll say is big picture, home rules. That's why we became a town, so we could create our own ordinances.
Yes, sir.
Basically, that is the reason I think anybody becomes a town, is so you can control the boundaries of your town when it comes to zoning and code and all that. You know, that's all I can say in general. I have no idea on the specifics. There are some times where I know state statutes supersede, there's things that we can't go against the state. I don't know how the county falls in, that's up to the attorney, and this isn't a forum for those kinds of decisions. This is just casual discussion about anything but code cases. It's about all the great things that's happening in the town. As for residents come up and tell us what a great job we're doing. So,
If I get my FP&L, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But we're not discussing code cases. What we want to know is, let me think about it for a second.
Thank you, Mr.
If this is not the forum, when is the forum? Because we need to discuss our case. When are we going to get our chance to speak what we need to speak? I have.
that's magistrate. All the
Okay.
code goes through code enforcement and right to the magistrate. The
So-
council's not involved in any way, shape, or form with code. There's no appeal process to the council. There used to be years ago. That was taken out probably 5 years ago, I'm guessing. But council is not involved. Now, if there's an ordinance and the attorney comes to us and says, council, this ordinance needs clarification, or there's conflicts within the ordinance. And we've been working through that for, we became a town, we adopted a ULDC that was similar to what the county had, and then we've been tweaking it since. So if the attorney comes to us and says, hey, there's something here that, we need clarification, we revise ordinances all the time at the, request of the attorney. And that's when council discusses the ordinance and What do we feel is important or?
Do you know what the ULDC stands for?
United, what is
It-
it, Land
un-
Development Code?
Okay, yeah, just alphabet
So-
soup, just so you understand.
Yes, I've worked for special magistrate in the Village of Royal Palm for 15 years. So for the code that I'm going through as a resident here, I'm astounded. I'm very disappointed. You can understand our frustration. I've sat, like I said, for 15 years. The attorney that you are going to look at tonight is my attorney that I have spoken to. And I'm just frustrated that we can't vent to you or any of you. Nobody can answer. I mean, we've been trying with phone calls. I've been trying with emails. I just need some resolution. I need some clarification and we're not getting it. I feel like I'm being left out in left field.
So the process is not moving?
It's not that it's not moving, but as
It's not
as
moving
I
fast
know,
enough? I mean,
what do you call fast enough?
Yeah,
Royal
that's.
Palm, it would have been already
yeah,
done
We don't
and
know the
gone.
details of the case. We're not involved.
One
in
other
it.
question is special magistrate hearing though, but that's not open for public speaking, not in our town.
For the magistrate hearing?
No, it's
It's
the,
advertised public. I don't know.
It is an open public,
no,
it is an open public meeting. Sometimes the magistrate will take testimony from people who aren't directly involved in the case and sometimes not, just depending on what the situation is.
Okay.
correct.
And how are those people invited or made aware? Because I can pull 3 ancient code cases that are long since closed and resolved off the top of my head where the plaintiffs weren't even made aware that a magistrate meeting was happening. So how are we doing better to post notice and speak to the plaintiffs or call for witness? How does all that work?
The code cases are really between the town and the alleged violator. And so the alleged violator gets the notice and the agendas for the meetings are posted and as you would other regular public meetings. So posted here at Town Hall, posted on the website that the meetings are happening. But we do not always speak to
Invitations.
the people who have called in the violation because it's not based on what they observed, it's based on what the code officer observes.
And that's the problem.
Quick question. If we like that attorney question while we're all here. How long does,
Anything not code related?
okay, how long until somebody gets noticed or cited? What if they don't respond? It's been 9 months, no responses. What do we do with that? We just, what's the process when the violator gets noticed and they're not responding for 9 months in our town? We just keep going on?
Keep getting an affidavits of non-compliance and I mean, it has to get sent to hearing at some point.
I'm meeting with the code officers tomorrow. I don't know anything about your case right
No,
now.
I-
So
we
We don't
bring it
want to get, everything's hypothetical.
Yeah, it's just,
It's no case, no hypothetical.
and so to that point, every case is different.
and just for the council, Francine has been involved in the last 2 months, has gone over head over heels, calling after hours, keep us informed. Not that we're impatient. This started last year with Jamie back in,
November.
yeah, I believe Phyllis sent me paperwork back in November on code violations and we reported it. It didn't go too far until probably July or August when Francine did get involved. Her and Jim have worked diligently, but we have a difference. We don't know where to go. We have a difference of opinion on interpretation of the law. We have to follow the county. We don't have to follow. Maybe the attorney can answer this. We just want an answer because all we keep hearing is, we change attorneys. We're
We're
doing this.
working on it.
How
We're working
long
on it.
does it take 9 months to get somebody to go to hearing? We've been told today, county supersedes our laws. That's why that piece of paper that I believe Mr. Fletching is going to ask them for tomorrow, we had available to him, showing that we supersede the county. We have our own set of laws. We just want interpretation. Are we going to follow our laws or go by the county when they have a disclaimer on there that you have to follow that municipality like Royal Palm? You can't have 30 horses out here. We may be able to. That's a disclaimer as
And-
far as we're concerned that we have to follow what we have. We say we're not allowed to have a peacock, then we can't have a peacock. County says you can have 10. what are we gonna follow? Is that an attorney question or a council question? All we want to know, because that would get the process moving a lot faster.
Because you're the ones who create the role,
Yeah, well, comes
Ordinances
through the
and-
attorney. So she said she's meeting with somebody tomorrow.
okay, how
So
about
hopefully
it?
she'll have some answers tomorrow, but if it hasn't, gone to magistrate yet, then it's because I guess the code part hasn't solidified its stance to make it go to the magistrate. I don't think we take up the magistrate's time for something that we don't, in the end, have a good case, for a violation in front of the magistrate. So I'm only assuming that her meeting tomorrow with code, trying to understand more deeply. And obviously, there's some interpretation, like you said, county, town, state, and, we rely on council to help us understand. And if there's a mistake, then I think this council is very supportive. Let's fix it, because everything didn't merge perfect when we became a town. We're
We've been in
learning.
town for a long time. I mean, I'm sorry, we've been in town for quite a while and
But we've been in town
we
for
should be
about
further than
4
where we
years
are.
because we merged the district and the town. So we really became one unified town when we did that, when we brought everything together. So
Francine knows our frustrations and she's dealt with them.
Thank you.
Get heated on our conversation, disagree on stuff, but.
I
thank you
don't
for
disagree that the
complimenting her.
code needs to be fixed.
The code does need to be fixed. Like I
Yes,
said,
it
15 years of doing it and I cringe every time he tells me something and it just is very frustrating for me sitting at, and things being said that I sit on the special magistrate hearings for 15 years. I did the minutes. I know what happens. I know what notice of violations should go out. I know when notice of hearings should go out. And for me to have to call to get them to go out, I shouldn't be doing somebody else's job. I work in a different
I
municipality.
agree, but any expertise you can lend to the situation, which isn't just unique to you.
But that's
Obviously, this is a townwide thing that we're working through, right?
correct.
Is we went through a period where we had a management company and we had code enforcement that was being accused of targeting, being sent out, boom, boom, you go. So then we transitioned out of that and we really didn't have much code enforcement for years, maybe 2. And so we got back in and we got everything and we hired a company. So we have, permitting in-house, building official.
Which went very
and
well, the permitting.
So hopefully someday you'll say that about codes.
We were the second permit for. a roof.
No, we were the
The
first.
first or
Okay.
second
Yeah.
permit
That's
for
good.
roof.
That's good to hear.
Good to hear.
Francine's doing a good job. Permitting's doing a good job. That's what I hear.
Okay,
So
so
we definitely got to work on our code, which we know that. We absolutely know that. And we've talked about it up here and
And-
given direction and Francine's working on that. So
my question is who can we talk to or complain to about code? I understand we're getting new code, but I mean, it's our Giordano and Associates, is that who it is that they're under?
Francine is the town manager. So
Right.
the way
No,
code
the
works, you go
code
on the
guy.
website, you make a complaint, right?
I've already done that.
And then my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, Francine, is you're kind of the go-between. Because I'm not sure the code enforcement officer,
I have had numerous continuing conversations with the Hosfords. We share frustration on a certain set of elements, particularly the code. I have also said that I will speak with our town attorney tomorrow when she comes to see if we can't get this case on the October magistrate agenda, which will give us a month to go ahead and get it noticed and so on and so forth.
But we even have like more evidence that,
Well,
but who
well-
would we come tomorrow and bring
Well,
that in?
that meeting is not a public meeting.
No, 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 I don't
However,
want-
what I would
to
be
drop it
very
off.
happy to have copies of whatever stuff you have. I know you've told me about some other things. I'm always willing to take additional information with your complaint. And additionally, I am having Jim follow up on what we did talk about, and I won't say that here.
That's what that is.
Yeah, and we would like that information.
Didn't mean to take up your time, but 9 months of this, you know,
Oh,
30-year residents, guys, we gotta ask them
Yeah.
one time.
well, I don't care if you lived here 3 days,
No.
30 days, or 30 years.
No, it's just-
Everybody gets treated the same.
but we all try to follow
And
the same-
nobody should have to go through what you're going through, but we're working on it diligently. And I think we're closer than farther. I think the gap's getting closer, not wider. So
Thank you.
apologize that you had to go through this, but
It'll get resolved.
we
Like I
got
said,
another resident who's lived here 60 years.
Are they mine or may I make copies? Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Okay.
Ms. Standish.
Good night. Thank you for coming.
Virginia Standish, 15410 North Road. So we're going into a new year. We have a new town manager, and just listening to that, I think it'd be a great idea if we have an outline of the code process, code complaint process, just a one pager that tells us, the public, what the process is. You do this, this happens, so that we all know what the process is, council included, everyone. It would be, I think just listening to all that, it would make sense.
Yeah, the button's on the website. I clicked on it the other day just to see how it works.
And does it give you the timeline or the
Well, that's
process?
The part that's missing. It lets you fill out the form, but then there's not the okay, this
Summary.
is what to expect.
Right, that
you
would,
know.
and that's what it sounds like they were asking for. What to expect? And if it doesn't happen, then what should we do? Do we go back to the town? That sounds like what that whole, part of it was. And they had a valid point. Obviously, she's a woman of experience and can offer a lot of insight. So sounds like somebody should be on a committee. One of you gets to tell her that. See if she still talks to you. Anyway, my question, because it is a new year and we have a new town manager and we're looking for streamlining explanations and processes for the landowners. So last meeting, I was in here and once again, I heard a landowner complaining about the grader taking away some of her property. So I would like to know what the process is by Public Works on grading into people's private property. What instructions is Public Works giving the graders? And why are they grading into private property? What was said to us at the last community meeting by the landowner along Collecting Canal, she said that the grader told her he was instructed to do that because the town is going to do eminent domain. I understand that's a she said, he said situation. So that's why I'm asking for the new year for clarification. What instructions are being given to the graders as to how to grade a road? And if they are told to stop grading someone's property, are they going to respect that?
Any comments?
So basically, you want to know, does Public Works say, okay, town grader, follow the FPL lines? Are you looking for some kind of a
No, what
description of boundary or?
I'm
kinda
looking, I
lost?
guess, to start, the preliminary is, what are their instructions when they go out on these roads that, there's still, some may have a little bit of asphalt, the ones that aren't recently paved, but if they're dirt, what are their instructions to keep them from taking more private property away? I mean, at some point, as I've always said for umpteen years, it is the landowner's responsibility to mark their property and protect it. However, we've gone back and forth in this town and there's still issues going back and forth. So the landowner has a right to protect their property and tell people to stay off it, not grade it. So my question is, what guidance is being given to the town employees to keep them from going off into private property?
Okay.
And if they are told they are on private property, I would hope that they realize they need to immediately remove themselves and the grader. So I'd like confirmation that they do remove themselves when they're asked to do so.
I will say I drive Collecting Canal probably every day. And it's graded differently at different times. I noticed sometimes they just do part of it and they're leaving almost like a swale on the side for the water to collect to. And then sometimes they go over and they grab that dirt and bring it back up the road.
And I recall your own reason you used to grade a certain road yourself years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
my little blue tractor, I'll box blade anything. I love driving the tractor, but anyhow, so I do know there is different approaches, different weeks, and that's, his grader person's expertise to keep the road as drivable as possible as well as draining. But I know there's a lot of areas in the past where trees have grown. And so people didn't drive in that area. And then, grass starts growing, because people don't drive in it. And then when the trees get cut, people drive in it. So it changed the dynamics of that road. I think we've been trying to send letters out over the last few years and try to keep consistent road lanes so that doesn't happen. So I think that's some of the issue is all of a sudden trees are growing, traffic moves, or traffic just stops and waits, goes around the tree. And all of a sudden do a major cutback. And now it's like, whoa, where'd this road come from? I saw it on Collecting Canal. They trimmed some trees. It's like, wow, you just don't realize how narrow the road gets as those hollies grow about an inch a day.
Right, but
And when they're cut, it's like,
but again, the point is, if it's still private property.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would ask the town to review with their employees, especially their public works employees, that if there is an issue with the landowner and a landowner respectfully asks that grader to stop grading, that grader stops, and then he can check with his supervisor as to what the proper area is on that property. I think we need to have responsibility on both sides, the landowner and the town.
well, it needs to make the road safe. So I understand.
We
what you're
need to
saying.
respect,
Get away,
I'm not
respect the
I'm not
owner.
traveling down the,
Yeah. You're not gonna leave
okay,
a
the
big
roads
old-
were made unsafe by the water district because they abused their use of the canal. So what needs to happen is we need to, again, I say, respect the fact that if you are on private property and you are asked to leave the private property, that is not yours. Okay, it's not this is, this term of making the road safe is an umbrella
No, my
for bad
point is-
behavior.
No, my point is don't leave a hump of dirt there. They've got to
Right.
transition that and get
Fine.
back out where the owner's.
Fine, I understand. That's exactly
Talk
what
to
I'm
the
saying.
supervisor. I hope that's what's happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking here, that if the graders, instead of mouthing back to the landowners, that they have a supervisor that they should speak with. And if they have an issue with a landowner, they should let the supervisor intervene and get involved in that.
Yeah.
Is all, but we'd like to know that there is a process happening.
Virginia, I'd like to address something. As long as I've been on this council, I don't ever remember hearing eminent domain come out of any of our mouths. So that is a he said, she said,
That's-
scare tactic.
Well, I'm just
I-
repeating what
you
was
know,
said at last
I
meeting.
understand that. And that's how things don't get moving forward.
Mhm.
And we get things that we need to do because of other people scaring people to say, well, they're going to take the property and, they are taking inches or feet or whatever the case may be. We may be using it, but we're not taking it. We're trying to make things safe. So hang on one second before you say anything else. I would like clarification either from the attorney or the town manager to, for the public to say what the process would be for eminent domain, because I know it's just not say, oh, we're going to create eminent domain and tomorrow it gets done. So can we have I know it's not probably a short synopsis, but
No.
something for our viewers that are listening to say that is a process and it doesn't happen overnight and what the process would be.
2 minutes or less. You're on the
And,
clock.
and
Yes.
if I may respond, many of us understand that my point is, what I'm really focusing on is the interaction of the public works employees with the landowners is what I'm focusing on. Okay, I'm well aware of right-of-way issues. There's a lot of things I haven't said that I could say in this town, and may do this
But
year in that manner. But this particular point is public works employees interacting with landowners, property owners, renters, residents. And if there's an issue, I would hope that they would go back to their supervisor and let their supervisor handle it. I think that's part of maybe what caused the issue last week that we were hearing about. I don't know all the details, but it's I'm starting to hear more and more things. And yes, this is how things happen. But the bottom line is, once a property gets taken and something becomes an easement, we've heard before from attorneys in this town, it does become a right of way. And then what happens is when the property appraiser gets done, your property does get whittled down. It's happening to multiple properties out here. Their properties have been resized. So it's just a fact of what happens. It's happened on Ferris Lane. There's been a property that's been resized. It's just the procedure.
What lane?
Off of Ferris Lane, there was a property that its size changed. It's just part of the process. It's all
Nothing to do with us, nothing to do with the town grading. It's not even. on the letter
when
road.
you're,
Yeah.
there's certain things with easements and right of ways. I'm just stating fact. There's when easements and right of ways get recorded, it's going to affect the size of your properties.
No, easements will not affect the size of your property.
If it
Easements-
becomes a right of way.
Yes, if it becomes. a
Yes,
right-of-way.
let's be, don't,
Okay.
do not play word games with
I'm
me. I know
mixed.
exactly
Easements
what
with
I'm,
right-of-way.
no, no, I
Easements
know
and
exactly,
easement,
right.
Right away is a right.
But what is going on is these so-called safe roads will become right of ways.
But
And then
anyway,
people will lose their property.
Virginia,
size.
anyway, that's not the first time I have heard eminent domain.
Right, neither is it.
Not
and
from you. So, you know, when somebody says to you or you hear or somebody else hears, this is why I wanted clarification from them
All right.
because they need to
Yes,
say.
Letter, go ahead, sorry. She can do it in 2 minutes.
Short and simple, eminent domain is a statutorily driven process by which the government takes property for a public purpose and for compensation to the property owner. Depending on, there's a voluntary process and there's an involuntary process, and it is all based on offer and acceptance. And if there's no acceptance of an offer, then you go to court and the court accepts the offer for you, kind of sort of thing. It can be a shorter process or a lengthy process, but it starts with a letter from the government to the property owner. So if you have not received a letter stating that eminent domain is being pursued, then it is not.
So again, then for clarification, a grader just cannot come along and tell someone, well, they're doing eminent domain. So we just established all that for the record. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Got 3 minutes. Well, Miss Attorney, you did good. We didn't even have to start the clock on there. I was gonna see if Lakeisha could make that do 2 minutes.
My phone says the same thing.
Yeah. Yes, let's adjourn this community conversation and start our meeting here at 6:30. Anyone need a break? Restroom? So is this Zoom or YouTube?
Where it says live up there.
So if people want to watch it, they can do either one, either Zoom or YouTube.
They have the Zoom link, yes.
And nobody's requesting the link, looking at it on YouTube.
Let's see. You can tell. You know, how many people are watching.
Right. 6:30, okay. Welcome September 20th, Town Council Final Budget Hearing and Regular Meeting. We could stand for the pledge followed by prayer.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for this opportunity to gather here tonight and represent our community. We ask for your guidance as we share our thoughts, learn from the past, and make decisions for this town we so dearly cherish. Please give us the knowledge, patience, and understanding to come together and create policies for the best possible future of Loxahatchee Groves. We pray for the safety of our military and first responders as they sacrifice for our everyday freedoms. Pray for our teachers, staff, public servants, family, and friends as they try to do the best they can in whatever capacity they have. Thank you for your gifts of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. May we continue to keep these rights a priority and available to all. Thank you for our amazing town full of trees, plants, animals, and great people. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Shore,
Present.
Vice Mayor Danowski,
Here.
Councilmember Manila, Councilmember Herzog.
Here.
Councilmember Miles,
Here.
Town Manager sorry. I apologize. It was just flowing. Town Manager Remelia. Here. Town
Or am
Attorney. Town Attorney Lanahan.
Here.
Public Works Director Peters.
Here.
I do apologize. Oh, don't worry about it.
Any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? Hearing none, need a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Motion by Laura, second by Marianne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion passes 4-0.
I have no comment from public, sir.
Public comments, okay. Move to the consent agenda. I'll pull any items.
I'd like to pull number 4.
Okay, number 4, any others? Okay, I need a motion to approve items 1 through 3.
Make a motion to approve items 1 through 3 to the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Marianne, second by Laura. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Okay, item 4 is FAT committee appointments.
Yes.
Marianne,
I'd like to make a motion to modify the resolution 2022-66 to appoint Tracy Raflowitz to the FACT committee.
I'll second for discussion because I wanted to discuss this one also. And my question is, this is the FAT committee, so the finance portion of it. And I know the people that are on it, their financial background. And my question would be to Laura and to Marge, one at a time, would be, what is the financial, qualifications of your appointee? Because we don't have an application and nobody fills out an application to join the committee. So I have no clue on these two. And so if you want to go first, Laura, talk about your appointees' qualifications for this committee.
Tracy Raflowitz is married to Brett Raflowitz, and they both own and operate ESI, which is an equestrian footings specialty company. They have multiple accounts all over the country. Tracy is you can call her the chief financial officer. She is accounts payable. She is accounts receivable. She is the collector of receipts. She has to deal with outside vendors, with permitting, with floodplains, with EPAs, with municipalities and their regulations, with trucking, with any kind of regulation and regulatory efforts that come with that. The projects they work on are multi-million-dollar projects with equestrian footings. And they've been doing this for, I'm going to say 15 years that I can vouch for. They are survivors of persecutory code from 2 management companies ago here in town. So they're pretty savvy with code and, knowing how to work within the law. And they've also survived 2 IRS tax audits. So I think they are more than qualified to be helpful to this town in a financial capacity.
Thank you, Marge. Cassie?
Yeah, Cassie is a PBSO officer. She has worked in our town. She is presently working in North County, and she has had equestrian involvement for many years. She was in charge of the barrel racing when it was at Belvedere and State Road 7, and mainly run by those who participated, and they had officers and so forth. And Cassie and her mother and the whole family have been involved for years and years and years with buying and selling items and so forth. So I think she's more than qualified.
Okay. So the motion was just to approve Tracy and not approve Cassie, so the resolution, can we do 2 motions or how's? Okay. So the motion was to approve Tracy Rafowitz by Mary Ann, seconded by myself. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me.
Motion passes 3-1. Okay. You want to make a motion for Cassie?
I'd like to make a motion that we also seat Cassie as part of resolution 2022-66.
Second.
A motion by Marge, second by Laura. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed? Nay. 2-2, motion fails. Okay. Regular agenda. Consideration of contracts. There's 3 different contracts here under item 5. So we'll do them one at a time just to keep them separated on our discussion, so we're staying focused. First one, staff present, and then we'll have public comment and council discussion.
All right, the first is resolution 22-55, professional services with land research management. This is for planning and zoning related services. The term of the proposed agreement is 3 years, commencing October 1st, with an option for 2 additional 1-year renewals. The contract is very similar to the contract that the town currently has with this vendor for services. The services provide or under the contract provide for things that are directed by town council for code revisions, reviewing code changes and things like that. And also for the comprehensive plan ear-based amendments and maybe in other comprehensive plan amendments that come forward, things that come forward through landowners who are trying to develop their property, which are based on what are those called? Cost recovery under your fee schedule. There are also that are set fee items that are under your fee schedule that the planner does, such as zoning confirmation letters and certain permit reviews. And then the planner also does provide on-call services where staff and property owners can call and ask random planning related questions.
Motion to approve 2022-55.
Second.
Do we have public comment? Okay, sorry. Motion by Laura, second by Mary Ann. Any discussion?
Well, are we going to bring in the extra help for him also, or how are we approaching that discussion?
We're working with the vendor to see if he wants to hire subcontractors. We are also, as part of the solicitation for engineering services, including planning services as part of that solicitation. So you may get additional services that way. So there are lots of options, and those will come down the road.
So it is locked in, the RFP is going out
Q,
for the RFQ. Okay, so it will be included in the,
it is in
Yes.
there.
so
So there's going to be an RFQ for this position and Jim will have to apply?
No, it would be in addition to the
Okay,
to Jim.
okay. All right, and is that part of what we're voting on right now?
This contract is a non-exclusive contract that allows you to provide services through this vendor and or any other vendor that you have for those same services.
Okay. So where is the discussion of others? I mean, I didn't,
We don't
Hear
have
anything.
any to provide right now.
okay.
Those would come down the road.
So we're only voting on Jim.
Correct. For now.
then when that RFQ gets advertised, that'll come before us
Yes.
with a list of engineering firms, with a list of planning firms. And we'll
Then
do
we
the
modify.
evaluation process and narrow it
Okay.
down to,
Because I've heard more times than I like to think about the problem that we're having with processing things. And that, obviously, help is needed
Yes.
sooner rather than later.
We have asked Mr. Fleischman to also leverage the work to subcontractors, and he is very willing to do that.
Okay.
And he does want to retire
And
sometime.
he's also,
But is that in
subcontracting is allowed under the contract.
subcontracting instead of RFQ?
You can do any and all of those things.
Okay,
The-
so he
al-
can do his thing, we
Yes.
can do our thing.
Yes, he also has plans to some of these fee-based services that he provides. He's going to train Lexi, the permit tech, to do some of those. So
Yep.
there are plans in place, multiple.
when we do the RFQ, we can select more than one firm.
Yes.
Yes, you
So we
can.
may end up with Jim and two other firms, three firms to
Yeah.
give you the work. Just depends on.
Well,
your
I would just like to
qualifications.
address the frustration, of the residents,
Mhm.
And the contractors, I mean, that aren't residents. All right, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, motion by Laura, second by Marianne. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Next item.
All right, the next one is Resolution 22-56, which is authorizing an extension with your engineering contractor, Keshvars and Associates. This is to extend their contract through the end of the calendar year to allow us time to put forward that solicitation for engineering and planning services that we just discussed.
Any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Council discussion.
so if we use this termination date of December 31st, is the final acceptance of invoices for them going to be January 31st of 2023? Because one of my frustrations has been, and I'm going to say the transition between our building department and Keshvars, the melding of the software programs. Jamie would say, it's done. Okay, done is good. And then I keep seeing invoices come in, IT time for, melding of software programs. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, this is 90 days old. And then I come in again to sign checks, melding of software and permitting programs and I'm just like, for God's sakes, when is it over? Done means done. So that's my comment in frustration. And then when do we make a cutoff date for, okay, Keshvar, no more projects, no more new projects for you. But then are any new things that come in just going to sit in a pending box until we have somebody to actually do it? So how do we handle that? Am I making sense?
You are making sense. So I don't have the original contract with me, but invoices would have to be submitted in accordance with the regular contract, which, typically it's within, usually they'll get them to us within 15 to 30 days of the last provision of services, for that month. So I would say by January 31st is probably when we'd get the last invoice. Projects, they have, I know your town manager has already started working with them on big projects that they need to keep working on, that they have already started, but not necessarily starting any new big projects. But the permit review things would continue to go to them, depending on what it is, probably up until the last few days.
I think we would do the cutoff like we did when we switched from the county to us. We would pick a date, and after that date, they probably would sit in the inbox until, but we wouldn't make that be very long.
Right.
And we would let everybody know that we would be having some amount of changeover. The other thing is they do have a handful of large projects that they are working on us with. And Mr. Peters and I, with Mario, are trying to get some of those projects done quickly.
Granted, quickly comes with its own set of moving parts, right?
Yeah.
And again,
Okay.
I can see Keshavar still having to, tie up loose ends through cost recovery projects, for some of the commercial development, but I don't feel like they should be involved in somebody's floodplain review, somebody's residential engineering plans. I'm not trying to demean their work. I think they're fabulous, but I almost think they're too big for that, if that makes any sense.
Well, I don't think they like doing the floodplain reviews either. So if it
Well,
helps, I think they'd be happy to shed that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to see if there's things that if we don't give them like that, if we can handle it rather than passing it to them, that we do that and we don't give them any more projects than they already have to finish. So that way we're not going to a carryover or involved with a carryover after December.
Well, let me work with Mr. Peters on how we might handle floodplain in the gap. I guess it really kind of matters on how much is in the pipeline at any given time, but let us talk about how we might, move that around as we get closer to the switchover,
Okay.
if that's okay.
My question is, what's the status of the RFQ? It needs to be out this week.
Oh, the date on it is the date we expect to release it is September 27.
Okay, next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, and it was based on the review schedule that we were told in advance, and we are getting a lot of attention on it, and I don't feel we'll have a problem.
Just want to make sure everybody understands, it doesn't come before us for review. It goes out the
Correct.
street. What
Mhm.
comes before us is I believe in the end, the bid tabulations or,
You'll get the ranking and
Yeah.
selection recommendation, and some of you have actually gone through the process.
and so
You'll
we
get the
should see
ranking and
that.
selection at the first meeting in December.
Our
Okay.
goal is to have
Yeah.
selection and potentially contract ready for you to award and sign first meeting of December, because this contract goes through the end of December. So we want to make sure that your timing lines up with that.
So we're reviewing it in November then, the bids and
We'll
awarding.
review the bids. There will be a selection committee, a different selection committee to review. the bids.
Okay.
So you'll get their
And-
recommendation and be making the final award.
Okay, who's that selection committee? Do we need to appoint
I-
that or how's that?
I think that's through our purchasing manual for this. You don't have to do
Okay.
that. I will be
Just
happy.
Trying to
take-
understand when we get involved
Right.
and make sure
So,
we're
At this point, we have,
beginning of December with the contract.
Correct. Yep, we have actually talked about who would be on the selection committee. And it would be similar to other ones we've done on big contracts like this, that we have residents and knowledgeable folks to participate. And we would also have Larry involved.
Staff and, okay. all
And
right.
there's
Would be a
no
combination.
timing to get it done prior to December? Like I know by our second meeting of November, so we
No
can see
way
it?
to do it,
Okay.
no way. I mean, we have it pretty tight
It's
right
really
now.
tight.
It's really tight. We have the selection committee meeting, like November 3rd, 10th, and 17th, or something like that, to get it all done.
'Cause they need to review it. And there is no appeal process because this is professional services.
There's always an appeal process.
Oh, okay. But it won't hold us from approving the contract.
It depends on if there's a challenge, it depends on where in the process it comes. So,
Okay.
but let's just say we don't anticipate there being any challenges.
Okay. And when will we know if we're picking 1, 2, 3 firms? Because I mean, the selection committee is going to do that. How do they know that council doesn't want multiple firms? I'm trying to understand how we don't see it till here's your contract, this firm, without having some
The-
kind of,
No, so what it will go out is there will be a form contract attached to the RFQ so that the vendors will know what the anticipated agreement looks like. If there are no requested changes through the solicitation process to the standard agreement, then that would be the agreement you would enter into, and you would authorize entering into that form contract with however many vendors you select.
oh, okay. So the vendors will come to us ranked
Yes,
and we review, okay, yeah, these 2 are close. We want both of these.
yes.
Or these 3 or these 4, whatever. So that's where we just pick who we think fits in our scheme of things and
Mhm.
scope of work. And then the contract is boilerplate. It's already there.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. very
That's the
much.
goal.
Okay. Any further discussion? Any motion?
Motion to approve resolution 2022-56.
Second.
Motion by Laura, second by Mary Ann. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
All right, the last contract under this is resolution 2022-57, which is a new contract for special magistrate service with Davis and Associates. This is the current vendor for magistrate services. This is a new term of 3 years with 2 additional 1-year renewals. It provides for a magistrate and an alternate magistrate with the same firm. And do you have any questions?
You have any background on this magistrate? I've never met the man.
Mitty Barnard is the primary magistrate who has been working with the town for several years. And Keith Davis is another attorney in their office, and he also provides magistrate services. Both of them provide magistrate services to various municipalities throughout Palm Beach County. They're both very qualified and have done good work for the town in other places.
Okay, because I'm concerned because of some of the comments that have been made about withdrawing the penalty that was assessed. Is that coming from them, or is that coming from staff, or where is it coming from
So when it comes
and why?
right, so there are opportunities for reduction of code enforcement fines and also for release of code enforcement fines. Your code has some very general provisions, and we can bring forward code revisions to strengthen those provisions if that's the will of council. But right now, what it is typically the magistrate will act on the request from the property owner and the recommendation from your town staff. And so sometimes the magistrate's opinion on whose number wins is different than what the town would recommend. But in my experience, since I've been working with you all, she really holds very close to what the town has requested.
Okay, my concern is when does council hear what the decision of the magistrate is? Because we catch the grief of the resident who, sees this code being reduced. And, we don't know about it until the resident brings it to our attention. And I would think that's like
Your-
a function of the
Your-
town that
your
we should
town
know
manager and
about.
I can do a better job in keeping you all informed on those
Okay.
actions.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Well, there's a difference between informed and verboten involved, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Keith, the one that wears the loud
Great. sneakers.
shoes.
Yes.
Okay, he's the attorney for the League of Cities.
Yes.
Okay. Get a motion, any more discussion, no public comment? Keisha,
Motion to pass resolution 2022-57.
Second.
motion by Laura, second by Marge. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Six. Village rate and budget.
Tonight is the second public hearing for the FY '23 budget. Our total operating budget is about $5.9 million, excluding transfers and capital. Our total capital this year is funded primarily by ARPA funds of $1.5 million. The total capital budget is $2.178 million, including transfers from gas tax, surtax, and the general fund. We adopted our non-ad valorem assessments for solid waste and for roads and drainage at our first public hearing, and they were adopted at $200 per unit for roads and drainage and $400 per unit for solid waste, which was a $50 reduction, more than 10% reduction, lowest rate that we have had in at least 5 years, which is hopefully going to go lower, and that rate was lowered in spite of an increase in rising fuel prices and so on. I go into that because I think it's kind of important that, you know, with our contractor, our council, and our residents, we're able to reshape the way that we do the solid waste this year as planned. The millage is 3 mills, which is the same millage rate that we've had for the last 5 years. Our rollback rate, that's the rate at which we would produce the same revenues as we did last year, is 2.6694 mils, which by the Florida statutes means that we increased our taxes by 12.38%. That is a function of the increased taxable value. Our total taxable value is $443.8 million. And that generates total tax revenues of $1.3 million, which by law, we can only budget at 95%, which is $1,264,987,000. So after all of that, we had an increase in our tax revenues of $156,833. This year's budget continues the road rock and road paving plans, and additionally begins significant drainage improvements, or continues some of the significant drainage improvements that we started in this year. We have added 1 employee in Public Works, and we have decreased 2 employees at the town hall. We have transferred our accounting function from start to finish out to contracted services, which I will be bringing to you on a contract at an upcoming agenda meeting, and we've done it at less than the cost of the staff. I did have to transfer staff monies to cover that contract, and so I will be sending out all finalized, reviewed, detailed budget worksheets and summary pages so that you will have them, and we will also make that available to the public. So without any further ado, we have 2 resolutions. One is 2022-63, adopting the final millage at 3.0 mils, and the other is 2022-64, adopting the budget.
Thank you. Do you have any
Thank you.
public comment? Okay, council discussion? Motion?
Motion to pass resolution number 2022-63.
Second.
Motion by Laura, second by Marge. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion passes 4-0.
Thank
That
you.
was for the millage. We need the motion for the
For the budget.
Motion to pass resolution 2022-64.
Second.
motion by Laura, second by Marianne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Okay, staff comments?
None from me. Just thank you very much. And congratulations on the shortest meeting in the town's history.
It's not over yet.
I still think it's going to be the shortest meeting in
Uh,
the town's history.
Town attorney?
I just wanted to give you all an update. There was a hearing recently in in Smiley and Breyer versus Town of Loxahatchee Groves and Underwood. And the court granted a motion for summary judgment by the Underwoods, disposing of the case, effectively disposing of the case against Mr. Underwood and Underwood Management. The court also granted the town's motion with respect to Mr. Breyer's claim that he established a lawful non-conforming grandfathered right to operate a feed variety store at 556 B Road. Judge found that plaintiff failed to establish the right and the town was entitled to judgment on that claim. The judge dismissed count 3, which was the temporary injunction claim, as moot because of the other, the decision on count 2. And the judge deferred ruling on the plaintiff's claim that the feed store is an accessory use to a commercial equestrian operation. So town's counsel and counsel for the plaintiffs are preparing memorandum of law to provide to the court to back their positions on that, and the judge will enter an order later.
So as far as that, we've won everything so far.
So
You just have the one count left. regarding, excellent.
So now what does that mean he has to do in order to correct?
right now, nothing, because it's not finished.
Okay. So going down the road, he may have to remove and change stuff on the property.
Potentially, yes.
Okay, thank you. Public Works, Mr. Peters.
Yes, Mayor and Council, Larry Peters, Director of Public Works. I'd just like to thank HR for, we have several applicants that are applying for the positions that are open, and that'll happen this Thursday.
Town Clerk. Excuse me?
Nothing.
Nothing? You want to tell us how you got all those applicants? Do we go Indeed or do something different or what? Something a little different. All right.
Did you hold out a sign on Southern Boulevard?
In a bikini or what?
Throw snacks at people? What, you know?
Town council comments, Marge.
Thank heavens we're done early tonight.
It's the snacks.
Are we going to hear anything from PBSO and the fire rescue? No reports, or you got them later?
Thank you for bringing it up.
Good evening, everyone. Lieutenant Robert DeMarzo, District 15, 17, and 18 Executive Officer. I'll just go over the some monthly stats that we had for District 17, Loxahatchee Groves. Month of August, our total CAD incidents was up 57, so 5%, at 1,174. Our traffic stops were up 113%, so up 70 from July, with a total of 132 traffic stops in the town. And then our CAD incidents, that's minus traffic stops and business checks, was a total of 171. So that's basically like calls for service. So they were up 19 for the month of July, so 13%. So just a little insight of what's been going on for the last month. There were 7 arrests made, and there was a total of 9 traffic crashes for the month of August as well. Any other questions about anything?
Those 9 crashes. Got quick locations on them.
I don't. I can
Okay,
provide
that's all
that
right.
though, if you want.
I was wondering how many were on Southern Okeechobee and
Yeah, I can find out definitely for sure. Actually, I can actually look through my emails.
you
In a
just forward that to the town manager.
Yes,
please, and
absolutely.
You could send it to all of us.
Yeah, that's pretty much it though. Calls for service did go up, which means it's getting busier. And then, we did more traffic stops to combat traffic accidents and stuff, just because there's a lot more traffic out there. So that's all.
March?
I'd like you to relay that I was very pleased with the response for a welfare check on one of our 80-year-old residents. And, we're trying to help and resolve a bunch of issues on that property.
Absolutely. I'll let Captain Turner know, and then we'll pass it on to the troops as well. You remember the address? You don't want to give that right now.
Not
Or
right
you can
now.
Make that public. Yeah. Thank you. Any other comments?
Gotcha.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
No
your
problem.
service.
Thank you.
Good evening. Philip Oliveri, Palm Beach County Fire Rescue District 28. So the big news with fire rescue, as many of you already heard, is our new rating for ISO. And the first time in the nearly 40-year history of Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, we've been able to achieve a Class 1 rating. This is a really big accomplishment, especially for a department our size. A lot of times you see a lot of the smaller departments get this because of what actually goes into it. The man hours of the training of the firefighters and stuff is really an excruciating task that the guys have to go through, the number of hours they have to complete. It also has to do with our equipment, how well we can get water supply, which out here is significant. As we could tell with the recent fire last month out on F Road, we had a great job getting water supply and maintaining water supply. Didn't have any issues with all the trucks that we have out here. Another part of it goes to our emergency communication center, our dispatch center, because of the way that they're able to receive the phone calls, get them out in a rapid amount of time. Most of the time out here, we're looking at about 45 seconds that they've actually received the information, gotten the call type, the address, and sent it out to the crews to get them responding. And then the last one is a little bit from the Community Risk Reduction Division. You kind of get extra points for that. And we're really fortunate here in Palm Beach County that our Community Risk Reduction Division is top notch. They're very well involved with the communities that we serve. The good thing about this for the community is if you live within 5 driving miles of a fire station, a lot of insurance companies do offer a discount to the premiums for insurance. So in a time when insurance rates are going up for everybody, there is a possibility that some people may see a reduction in their premium costs.
So do our residents need to remind their insurance company that we are now rated Class 1 to?
I would say bring it up because, and again, not all insurance companies do that. It's just, I don't know which ones. They don't give us a list and say these are the ones that subscribe to the ISO ratings. But it would definitely be worthwhile for people to bring that up to their insurance companies.
Can we do a banner on the website,
Yeah, we can do that.
giving them accolades and letting the residents know?
Yeah.
It could potentially mean cost savings.
I think we can do that. One of the things, though, I want to mention, though, is that we've been asked by a lot of people to put things on the website. And we are trying to bring a policy forward to council for things that automatically go on versus things that,
Can I get consensus from council to put this on?
You betcha.
Yes.
okay,
all
thank
right.
you so much.
We have consensus.
Okay,
It's-
thank you.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
You understand.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's why we are
Yeah.
here. Please, don't just listen to me.
Yeah. Robert?
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to also thank Fire Rescue for helping with this 80-year-old that we couldn't get her to agree to some things that needed to be agreed upon, and Fire Rescue had the solution for it, and it worked out well for the lady, as well as, no incident on property.
That's great. I always love to hear when things work out for the positive.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marge, for reminding me. Yeah. All right, you're up. You win a seat at the table. You're next.
How can I be next when I was
Oh, nice.
first?
For public. Are you done with your comment?
I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Your comment was, hey, Mr. Mayor, let's get PBSO and fire rescue up here. Thank you, Marge. Okay, Marianne.
It's great. We're accomplishing a lot of things and I'm going to keep it short. Remember, people, it's still hurricane season, as you guys are aware by the news feeds you get on your phone to say there's inclement weather out there. So stay happy, stay safe. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Francine,
Yes, ma'am.
how many people have signed up for Code Red? Do we know?
I have to check the number,
Okay.
and I do want to say thank you to you for giving us the heads up today. We got it right out.
Yay. And that's why I wanted to, bring it up. One, to say thank you, for jumping right on that. And two, to remind people, sign up for Code Red. You do it through the town website. You get a little text message, something that says, road work on Collecting Canal, take detour. Road work on Okeechobee between C and D, take a detour. We have the tool and just want to use it. So go to the website and sign up. And then one other thing that I would love to put on our list of things to think about. It's a flood management program. And at some point, the alphabet soup will kick in, but it's things that we as residents in a town can do for our drainage to improve our insurance rating for people in the town. And I think there's 9 levels.
Yep.
And, base level gets you X amount of, insurance reduction. Achieve the next level, a little bit more of a reduction. So if we can kind of put that on the project list, that would be great.
Okay.
Are we, what are we putting to determine our level or what?
It would be the very beginning of the program to see, where we need to start.
So we reach out to FEMA or how? How's it work? Help me understand.
I have the
I
man's.
support 100%. I just want to understand where we're going and what
Let me see if I still
resources.
have the man's name in my phone. Last time I spoke to him, he was at the office on Jog Road. Maybe he has his office name in there, but
Is it a person that does the town evaluation that we contract with or how is it?
he was the head of the program at the time. Ralph Wall, Palm Beach County, FEMA.
So we coordinate with
I'm
Palm Beach
familiar with the
County
program. And we have actually had a presentation here with regard to the program. It was, Larry, I don't know if you remember, but it was after we started working here. So we would be happy to go ahead and put it on that list of things to do. It's enormous anyway. And this one results in savings for everyone.
Yay.
Mhm.
That's it. Thank you.
All right, consensus.
Yes.
Make that a part. Okay, so in the end, we will come up with a number that residents can
Mhm.
tell their insurance company, hey, we're rated.
Yes, and it will end up
Okay.
in savings, but I will tell you that it takes a while. It will take
Yeah.
us a
Oh.
while to get there,
I-
just so we don't have anybody thinking it would be overnight.
All
It's a
right.
long process.
So that dovetails into one of my comments. I spent the weekend up just south of Ocala, and it was interesting. I'm out in the country, riding on paved roads in the middle of nowhere. But the water elevation was only like 2 feet below the road. I'm looking at it saying, oh my goodness. And what it is it's just a natural flow up there. So you don't have the situation that we created here by building and damming the natural water flow. Because I was just like, oh my gosh, how can these people live like this? And I realized, hey, all this water's moving. So nothing builds up, just keep, it might build up a little bit. And it takes me back to our whole, why do we have our floodplain management? Because elevation 17.6 before anything was here, everything just kind of flowed. You know, everything 17.6 kind of stayed wet or maybe flooded during the wet season. But obviously with everything, canals, roads, it doesn't flow anymore. So we have to, you know, do our part when we can as a town and as residents and developers and everybody else that, you know, affects that original flood elevation. RFP for paving, speed hump grinding, speed tables,
ITB.
15-inch invitation to bid. Okay, ITB.
Mhm.
We've been kicking it around for a long time. And we've been saying, oh, we can piggyback, and then the piggyback doesn't show up. Can we move forward, get this ITB out there, get some unit costs for these things that we will need in the future? And at the same time, if we get a piggyback that's cheaper, great, piggyback. But if the ITB results in some prices within budget, then we'll have our own piggyback to
Mhm.
follow. So can I
think
get
we're
a
doing that.
consensus from council to put staff on a deadline to
Yes.
get this out by, like,
Yesterday.
well, I would say the end of next week. It gives you a week and a half, and my understanding is it's pretty darn close.
Well, you want us to also get the other one out by the end of this week. So that would be
Yes.
the time on this week. And then next week, also consider all the contracts and agenda items that need to be finalized and prepared and resolutions to be drafted. So we're happy to do it, but I think 2 to 3 weeks is more manageable than next week.
October 7th.
I agree.
That's not
October
that far
7th.
away.
I,
That's 2 weeks at least.
Okay.
Okay, October 7th, please have that on the streets. If you need any help, I will volunteer to do anything. If you need me to type or whatever. I just don't stand on my head well. So please, October 7th. So let's get that on the street and get the word out to vendors. It's out there, and hopefully, Lakeisha, keep working your magic on getting people interested in our town to work here, as well as vendors to come work here. So thank you very much. The budget, I mean, this shows all the hard work the last few years that everybody's been doing, and all the things that we've got done, and, you know, to be able to keep this tax rate flat and still, you know, accomplish a lot of stuff. So it's really, really a tribute to staff and council for doing the right thing and spending tax dollars wisely. And I applaud all of you for that. So it's exciting times. You know, sometimes budget hearings can be very, very controversial, and you get a whole room full of people that are not happy with what's been done with their tax dollars. And, you know, so obviously, you know, we're doing the right thing. So I appreciate everybody. And that is it. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
Motion by Marge, second by Laura. All those in favor?
Aye.
Man.